Kenya, a live studio audience is about to shoot unscripted questions. This is Agenda Kenya with Jason Nyantino.
On Agenda Kenya tonight, Luis Antonio Ubiñas, President of the Ford Foundation, Gladys Boss-Sholei, Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, Dr. Jennifer Riria, CEO, Kenya Women Group and Chairperson to Vuke Initiative, and last but not least, Betty Murungi, Lawyer and Vice Chair, Kenya Human Rights Commission. Good evening and many thanks for joining us. Welcome to Agenda Kenya, your award-winning talk show. Tonight on this show, we focus on the next general election, and we want to know how we can make it free, fair, and peaceful. I've got fantastic audience members coming in all the way from Mombasa County, Nakuru County, and of course, Nairobi County. Welcome aboard. Before we take our first question of the evening, there is an award in front of me here, and it's christened Champion of Democracy 2012. This is an award that Mediva, the makers of Agenda Kenya, has just won, courtesy of the Ford Foundation, because of our work in freedom of expression in East Africa. And we thank you all. We thank Ford Foundation, and we thank you Kenyans and our viewers across the region for giving us a vote of confidence. Our first question is from Kenneth Adagala Ogonya, who is a case manager. Kenneth, your question, please.
Yes, my name's Kenneth Adagala Ogonya, case manager with CREW, Center for Right Education and Awareness. My question goes to the panelist. Is it applicable that the judiciary opted to buy Mercedes limousine rather than the government-initiated Passat as required by the government? Is it not going beyond the government policy, or is it the reforms we are advocating for in the judiciary? Please clarify this to the members of the public.
Thank you, Kenneth. Gladys, that is your area.
Yes.
Why are you buying very expensive cars?
First of all, I must say thank you very much to Kenneth for asking that question. Why? It's because Kenyans are entitled to ask questions about how we spend the resources that comes from Kenya's taxpayers in the judiciary. So we do appreciate those questions. You're entitled to ask them, and we have made a very clear decision at the judiciary that we will be transparent, we will be open to Kenyans about how we spend the resources that they provide to us, and that we will always be open to scrutiny and will not shy away from explaining that. The government policy does not actually bar the judiciary or any other government institution from buying other types of cars other than the VW Passats. The regulation from government actually puts a cap on the CC of the motor vehicle. The government regulation is that we should buy vehicles that are below 2,000 cc and that are economical to use in terms of fuel. The Mercedes-Benz, checked by the government chief mechanic, gives specifications that shows because of the blue efficiency technology it uses, it has the lowest petrol use. Yes, exactly. And number two, they are 1796 cc. They're not beyond 2,000 cc. The VW Passat is 2,000.
So you can confirm that the Mercedes-Benzes are 1,800 cc.
Yes.
Now, but you also bought Prados, Toyota Prados, which are over 2,000 cc. How many did you buy, and why? Are you then violating government policy, which you have just said?
Again, thank you for that question. Yes, the judiciary did buy 9 Toyota Prados. What happens, according to government policy, is that you can request for authority to buy vehicles that are beyond 2,000 cc if they are required for a certain purpose. Mm-hmm. The Toyota Prados are for the Court of Appeal, which is actually a circuit court. They go to, they do not operate only in Nairobi. They travel to far parts of Kenya to deliver justice there. So it is more efficient to use a car that has bigger ground clearance than the Mercedes-Benz, and also for administrative offices that have oversight across the country.
Okay, Gladys, you very well know that in 2007, Kenyans went to the streets, and that's what culminated in the post-election violence, because there was no confidence in the judiciary. Do you think that a kind of expenditure, because the public image out there is that you are not behaving like members of parliament, True or false? Are you behaving like members of parliament?
No, we are not.
Okay. Let's get to hear Kenyans about this judiciary issue of buying cars, Mercedes-Benz cars. Who has a comment or two for the chief registrar of the judiciary? Yes, at the back, very last row.
My name is Horace Kola.
Thank you.
What is the judiciary doing regarding that LSK has gone to advocate for removal of judiciary, knowing very well that it will be a waste of time vetting other judges and it will be a waste of taxpayers' money?
I think he's talking about vetting very, very quickly. The LSK has asked for boycott for the judges who are instated. Very quickly, what's the position of the judiciary?
The position of the judiciary is that the Law Society, like any other institution and other members of the country, are entitled to petition against anything that they are not happy about. Kenyans have a constitutional right to demonstrate, to make petitions relating to things that do not make them happy in the institutions, and therefore the Law Society of Kenya is well within its rights to do what they're doing.
I come to you, Jennifer, before I go to Louise. What do you think in terms of image of the judiciary and the happenings? She has explained how they got the vehicles, but out there, Kenyans are feeling, you know, we were looking at judiciary as our last resort institution. Do you think that image is getting dented?
No, I think that one of the things that has happened in the judiciary, in the transformation of the judiciary, is that the judiciary is engaging the public in all the issues. Judiciary, you saw the other day, judiciary was marching in the streets, showing and opening itself up for, you know, at the KICC for the public to come and dialogue. Judiciary joined Tuvuke, which is the initiative for peace, to come and dialogue on issues that are affecting Kenyans. It is not denting. It came out to say we are buying these vehicles and ask, we'll answer you. I mean, that's, before you would never question the judiciary on anything that is happening.
Thank you for that. Louise, talking about the judiciary, could you just give us your views and sentiments about the role of judiciary in strengthening our democracy? You could give us examples from, you know, from your experience globally.
I think it's absolutely central to step up from these questions of whether a car is 2,000 cc's or 1,800 cc's and ask questions about the nature of the judiciary and whether the judiciary we're creating here in Kenya is serving the role we see the judiciary serve in so many countries that have free and stable elections and free and stable democracies. If you step back and think about judiciary as the guardian of democracy, the judiciary as the body of government that makes sure that registrations to vote are ethical and well made, that the process of voting is ethical and well executed, that transitions of power happen freely, fairly, and peacefully. That is the central role of the judiciary. And the challenge is to rise above the many issues that will come up. Fair issues, good questions about the cars or other issues that come up, and make sure that you're pulling in and demanding that the core issues of the judiciary as the safeguard of democracy, that those questions are being asked, that those issues are being addressed.
Okay. I remember, Louise, in 2000, there was a presidential dispute in the US. Could you just share with us how the court stepped in and how did this salvage the situation?
That was, I think, an excellent example of the idea of the judiciary as the arbiter of democracy, as the guardian of democracy. We had a democratic government. And there was a question at a moment of transition as to whether or not the Republican Party, the other party, had won that election. And the judiciary stepped in and said, well, in fact, the other party has won. The party in power has lost this election. An interesting thing happened. They then recounted those ballots, and the judiciary had made the right decision. Like it or not, for one party, love it for the other party, the judiciary had stepped in and safeguarded our democracy. And whether you agreed with it or not didn't matter, because what we saw was the judiciary stepping in and protecting democracy.
Thank you. Betty, what are your sentiments about where the judiciary is so far?
You know, issues to do with cars, houses, robes, wigs, those are red herrings. Because for the first time in 20 plus years, we are seeing a failing and failed institution being transformed. The judiciary is going to be the institution on which our democracy is going to be anchored moving forward. So all of these other things that you're hearing, these are red herrings to confuse us so that we take our eye off the prize and start focusing on issues that have nothing to do with consolidating our democracy, with consolidating the various gains that we have made in the new constitution. This judiciary under the leadership of the Chief Justice, is doing something the forces of impunity will spend sleepless nights to reverse. And we have to be vigilant. Kenyans, we must be vigilant.
Thank you very much. I'll take my next question of the evening from Ephraim Juguna Ngugi, who is a social change engineer.
Yeah, my name is Ephraim Juguna Ngugi. And my question was, the funding so far has been directed so much towards women leaders in terms of in their integration, sensitization. But the problem here is we do not have a problem with women leaders. We have a lot of them, actually. The problem is we don't have enough voters who believe enough that women can be leaders to vote for them.
Thank you.
What is it being done to change all this?
Thank you, Jennifer. I'll bring that to you. You can tell us about the Tuvuke initiative. What are you doing to mainstream women in the political process?
Yeah, that's really one of the big pillars of Tuvuke, to ensure that women, first of all, register, vote, make sure that they present themselves as leaders, and vie for positions. Now, that is very easily said, that we need to address the issues that are making women not come out. What are those issues? These are, some of them are the patriarchy issues that we are also trying to address. Issues related to the space that the women have. Women do not have support. The elections have been turned into being big financial engagements. You had the other day an announcement that the political parties are going to restrict how much money you use in your campaigns. That will help somewhat, because if you don't have money in this country, you can't enter politics. You are not going to be able to enter politics. Then there's the issue of the men themselves.
So, let me just cut you short, I'm sorry. How are you then addressing the issue of women lacking funds, lacking finances for their campaigns? How are you addressing that as Tuvuke?
We are addressing the men directly through one of the pillars of Tuvuke, to address the men themselves, to begin supporting the women from their own homes. It begins from home. And then we are also addressing the political parties, to make sure that the one that rule is observed within the political parties. The political parties make it their responsibility to make sure there's one that representation. Okay. But we are also addressing the women to make sure that they present themselves to the political parties. Because if they don't present themselves to the political parties, there is no way the political parties can vote them.
Thank you. Agenda Kenya takes a break now. Don't go away.